What's up, y'all? It's your boy, KevOnStage, and my lovely wife,
Miss KevOnStage.
Miss KevOnStage. And we are starting Relationship Mondays with the stages. One thing you guys may not have known, we love relationship stuff. About a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, we did a Love Hour seminar. Remember that in Washington? We've been working on a book called Tips for a Healthy Marriage. And we decided, hey, why don't we bring this to the people of YouTube? And my wife has agreed every Monday to talk relationship stuff with you. I'm just speaking into existence. From our future projects, we want to do seminars and books and all that stuff. But right now, that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the topic at hand, which is tips for a healthy marriage. Of course, these tips are from married people to people who will be married, who are married, or who have been married before and look to be married again. We feel like that's the best way to come at this because that's what we are. Okay? So today's tip, the point of an argument is not to win.
Have you ever noticed that there's usually a common theme when there's an argument between you and your spouse? For example, this is one of our common themes. I always complain about Kevin not including me in his plans. So of course there's different scenarios, but that's a common theme that comes up. So for example, what were the examples? The car, of course.
Last week's video on relationships included in your plan. I purchased a car without explicitly letting Melissa know what my plan was.
Right. And usually just little things that come up throughout the day. Kevin's the type of person who will he be acting like he does it, but he always has a full plan in his mind. And then I'm the type of person I have to get, I like to be prepared. I like to know where I'm going, what we're doing, what's the agenda for the day. And that's just how I operate. I'm a list person. I like to write out lists and I like to know what's going on. And whenever I don't feel like I'm included in that, I feel like I'm caught off guard. And so on a day-to-day basis, he normally doesn't do that. And so it comes up a lot in different scenarios, but that's a common theme whenever we have a disagreement. And so the point really, what we're trying to say, the point really of an argument is to get to the true feeling of the argument, behind the argument, beyond the surface level situation.
For example, we argued about the car. So the argument was, Kevin, you went out and bought a car without telling me your plan. Or actually, you went out and bought a car without talking to me about it. Right? So my response was, because I'm trying to win the argument, we talked about this. Obviously, my car is broken. I need a car. I'm thinking logical points. But the real point she was trying to say wasn't about the car as much as you have a habit of planning things without including me in them. Today's situation happened to be the car. Last week it was, I want to go to the mall, to here, pick up the boys. I have this all in my mind. I don't say that to Melissa. So she says the same thing last week. Kevin, you had this. Why don't you just say this? A couple of days ago, we're talking about, our plans for comedy. We have a small conversation about it, and then I go out and boom, 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 boom. And she says again, Kevin, you didn't include me in this plan. So if I'm just trying to win each argument, I'm not realizing the weave and the common theme isn't whatever we're talking about that day. It is, I'm not including her in the plans.
And that's just our example. The whole point really is to, like Kevin said, I like relationship stuff, so I do a lot of reading. And right now I'm reading a book about communication. And one of the key points in the communication is it talks about identifying feeling words. And those feeling words are really at the crux, or they're the root of usually whatever the argument is about. So look for, I feel like, or Kevin said, you may hear, you never
spend time with me.
Yeah.
You're always out with your friends. Why are you leaving? So all I hear, what the man hears is nagging, and the true point is she's feeling neglected, lack of quality time. So if you feel like you're winning each argument, why spend time with you last week? Oh, I'm just going to hang out. Oh, I need my exercises. You feel like you've won 3 separate arguments, but what really happened is that arching theme of neglection and lack of quality time hasn't been dealt with. That's how people can get divorced which seems like over that, but one person has been feeling
for years
neglected.
Over.
And also, you can be feeling like I've said this to you
a million
1,000 times, 1,000 ways. You don't hear me, and the man is taking men. I think this might be a men thing. We take each battle as a isolated event.
Right.
Women are more nothing. Melissa's one of her favorite phrases, besides "boy bye," is Kevin. Nothing happens in a vacuum. It's all this. Maybe this point you're right, but the this is comes from another place. So. I think that's a really big key. If you, again, I want to reemphasize this. If you're always arguing to win each argument, you may win the argument, but lose the battle, lose the point of the battle. You also can make your mate feel like
you don't care.
Melissa's not going to feel like saying this again.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to want to keep telling him the same thing. I don't want to feel like I'm nagging. He just doesn't get it. You leave the door open for somebody else to spend quality time with her. Somebody else, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she's about to cheat on me.
But those are just examples.
Right. So what's the takeaway list?
So what we want to start doing is implementing a takeaway or something that's applicable, or some type of like couples challenge. Something like that. But something that you can take home after you watch all this and say, okay, what really were we talking about? So the next time you have a discussion with your mate, or a disagreement. Well, no, because the reason why I say discussion is because it doesn't always have to be in the form of an argument. Anytime you're having any type of communication, you should look for feel words, or really what they're trying to get across to you. And that will give you the point of, really in any conversation, of what they're trying to get across. Whether it's an argument, a discussion, a conversation, whatever it is, you can get that looking for those feel words. And usually people, usually will say, I feel like, not because they're educated on feel words, it's just because that's natural conversation.
Absolutely. So during your next argument, instead of trying to win, try to see what they are saying behind the situation. And see yourself in that. One point we forgot to bring up is, if you're always trying to win an argument, you don't want to see yourself in the wrong, right? So when we were arguing about the car, I wanted to bring up to Melissa, you closed me out, you blah blah blah, and part of me was missing the point, which is you don't include me in the plan. So she's like, okay, you're right, I closed you out. Then I need to be like, okay, you're right, I didn't include you. Now, if we both can start working on that, then hopefully you avoid at least that same argument stemming from that same feeling.
Right.
Of course, you're going to argue about or discuss or
different things,
over different things, but hopefully you want to, let it be new things, not the same thing. So, in closing, if you have any questions about this subject, ask us in the comments. At the end of each video, we might just take a question from last week and bring it here. You can just put it in the comments, and if you feel like you want to be anonymous, you can always email me at KevOnStage@gmail.com, and we will be back next week. Melissa's shirt is available in the store. This is the EXO.
I love you like EXO. I love that song.
Beyonce's Nebuchadnezzar. And for the singers or musicians or entertainers, the mic shirt is in the store. I'll put the links in the comment section to these specific items if you're interested. And we will see you next week. Tips for a healthy marriage with the lovely
Miss KevOnStage
and the dapper and handsome KevOnStage. Thank you. Till next week.
What's up, everybody? It's KevOnStage. Go subscribe to my YouTube page, and don't you be bitter. Just follow me on Twitter. What's up, everybody? It's KevOnStage. Go subscribe to my YouTube page, and don't you